Yeah, I can hear the dog crying. Good morning, lollipop. Oh shit, somebody's excited. Anyway, what's the crack? Good morning. Oh, you better not go down there. It's your fault. Oh, what are you going down there for now? Which one? Yeah, good morning to you, mate. Good morning to me. Good morning to you. Yeah. It's good night from him. From him. From him and from him. Normally, I have me music on, but I have to put the other phone on charge in order for it to charge up. Now, I am just tidying my fucking tray because it looks, well, yeah, it looks a mess. Yeah. Anyway, where are you from, Luke? I have a mate named Luke. I used to read a book. In fact, here, look, I have your name on my chest, look. Luke. Morning, cousin, how's it going? How are you, Trevor? That was really sad about Keith, wasn't it? I know yous all went and all. Really sad, but he got a good send-off, didn't he, Trevor? Yeah, didn't he get a good send-off? You know, they done him well, they did, you know. Like, I get on great with all them boys, you know. All the Fitzes, you know what I mean? I get on with them all, you know. I'll be honest with you, I think Wayne is a bit stuck up his own arse, and so is Joseph, you know. The next time they say hello to me, hey, the next time them two pricks ever say hello to me, I'll fucking remind them, you know. sometimes families, you have to put your issues aside. If somebody fucking dies, you know what I mean? You turn up. They'd no excuse not to go to that funeral, bro. And I'm not talking family business on here. You know what I'm like? If I've have something to say, I'll fucking say it, and see them too. Shame on them. Fuck them. You know what I mean? They're not like us. You know, Trevor, your dad raised proper men. Do you understand? It's like, but he raised two cunts. And they're probably watching me, you know. So if you're watching me, yeah, I think you're a cunt. How about that? And if you've got anything to say to me, pick the phone up. Someone went to your door to let you know, and you didn't answer your door. Shame on you, Wayne. I'm not even going to say a second name for respect to my family, but you see, you, if Wayne and Joseph K is watching me, see you too. Fuck you. How about that? You're nothing to me. I'll tell you what, I don't funerals. You have to understand, I've seen too many people die over the years. Why do you think I didn't go home when my ma was getting put in the ground? Or ashes when the grave was getting off? Fuck that. I don't like saying goodbye twice, you know. No, it's not for me, you know. But me brother Mark said he was speaking to your ma, Trevor. You know, he said to me, he said, bro, was speaking to me Auntie May. I was like, were you? He's like, yeah, everybody went. You know, even like my brothers get on with Carmel Stevens, you know. Now, I never used to get on with her, but because of family and stuff like that, I had to swallow me pride and think about the family, you know. But I've no issue with her. It's just like, without going over old tracks, you know what I mean? Everything's grand now. Death brings families close, and death also separates families. But in this case, it's brought a few family members together, you know. But I'm gutted over this family member, you know, because I actually gave a fuck, you know. Like, I have a few cousins who I love, you know. Like, I had a brother, or I had an uncle who I looked up to as a kid, yeah. Not me father, me uncle, Trevor's dad. He was my hero as a kid, and so was me Uncle Christy. You know, they were my two favourite uncles as a kid. You know, and as a kid, he watched over me, and even grown up, he still watched over me. You know, like, I'll never forget that day I was in court, and my Uncle James, he was there in the dock, waiting for me to go downstairs, and handed me cigarettes. You know, don't worry, Jude, you'll be alright. You know, don't be getting into fights. I didn't get into fights, they got into me. You know, I never fight anybody unless they swing at me. You know, and you can take that to the bank. You know, it's like, I'll read you. If I think that you're a threat to me, I'll take a step back. And if you get in my personal space, I'll fucking tag you. You know, I will tag you. You know, 'cause it's in me. But anyway, listen, I wanted to talk to you about something. The other day I hit 3 million views, right? Now, I need help with my channel. I need somebody that knows about TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Kick, whatever else, X. Fucking, I want to connect all my socials together, but I don't know how to do it. So I'm gonna need help with that. Yeah, I'd imagine I'll need help with that. So if there's anyone in the Manchester area who's a sub or a mod on my channel and you're on YouTube, I need help. I need to put all my socials together, but I don't know how to do it. But I need somebody to help me, but I have to be able to trust this individual. How are you, Richard? But like I said, I just like us, it's like you get people that come in here on a daily basis. Like I'm from Ballyfermot, my cousin is from Tallaght. I'm not telling you where Richard's from. That's up to Richard if he wants to tell you. But there's a lot of us that there's a lot of people coming in and out on a daily basis, like regulars. You know what I mean? Over the weekend I didn't do much. Yesterday I didn't even do much. You know, I'm on the last leg of my channel now. We're on 4,475 subs. I'm 25 subs away from 4,500. And I do want to get a shed down in the garden, but I won't be able to get it yet. But if I can't earn it, or if I can't raise the money, I'll find a way. Like I said, I'll sell them fucking canvases. I don't like asking people for help. I'll sell some of me property. I'll cut down on weed to get it. I'm gonna start giving me sister a few pound every week or whatever to hold, or to me missus to hold. And then when I have the money, I might just get a little gazebo like the last one I had a few years ago. Richard, do you remember that gazebo? No, it's not a joint, it's just a roll up. Just a roll up. Do you want a cigarette? Just a roll up. Yeah. Well, I intend to get a couple more. Right, so I'm gonna get another one if I have to, right? Like I said, I can only take the channel so far, Richard. I need help. And here, afraid of your own shadow, keep my mate's name out your fucking mouth. He is a legend there, Gibbo. Here, wait till I tell him about you. You rat. You creepy bastard. You're a bacon, you are. I'm gonna tell my friend about you. Using his name on Facebook for clout, you're pathetic, you are. Here, you don't know him. Tell you what, if you sub to all me mods, bro, not a problem, Dylan. Reese Burns, what you skiving for? Get back to work. You're gonna get Dylan and Dylan Ray into trouble. Get back to work, you skiving bastard, you. My man's gonna get into trouble over you. Get back to work, you bowsy. So, let me empty this fucking thing. Just empty it. It's a lot easier. I'm not far away from 4,500 subs, and some people don't like it. Well, that's not my problem. Can I just do this real quick? I have a stalker who's watching me. In fact, I have two. That backfired on you, didn't it, mate? Hey, I know you're watching me. It backfired on you, didn't it? Hey, calling me a thief and a liar. It backfired on you. Oh, backfired big time. How are you, Mark? Don't worry, listen here. There's no secrets in here. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. Nah, listen, there is what it is. You know, I've only got a small channel, but it's the effort I put into it. You know, like I know all the Irish people that watch me know my reasons, my angle, my agenda has never been about arguing. It's been to mend it. Do you understand? My agenda was never to fight. It was to mend it. Watertight. Listen, I'd strangle you with me vocabulary. Dictionary. Yeah. You see, I'll tell you a little story about me. I lost my education as a 13-year-old kid because I wanted to impress me mate at school. I wanted to be a fucking class clown. You know, CTD, crash test dummy. You're looking at him. Yeah. Like I said, it is what it is. You're gonna get people moving the goalposts all the time, whatever. I don't blame people for making money on YouTube. The best of luck to you. But this has always been about growing a channel, like, you see Finn's channel, right? This is why I admire Finn, yeah? Finn in a year got more subs than I did in 4 years. It took me 4 years to get 600 subs on a channel I used to have called Fighting back in I. And rather than sulk and be bitter, I said to myself, I'm gonna make another channel and hopefully my subs will go quicker. 3 years, 4,475 subscribers, 4,715 videos. Hello, Turbo. Good to see you, mate. Hey, 10 months sober, well done you. I seen your thing the other day with Billy. Well done you. Hey, is that you, bro? I can't see without my glasses. Is that you, Turbo? Manchester Turbo. If it is, give my man a sub. If that's the same individual. I like to see people doing well, and it's like, I'm an ex-drug addict, right? And a lot of people come in here who are either ex-addicts, current addicts, who are alcoholics, or people who have mental health issues. Like when I was a kid, I wanted to be a soldier. I wanted to represent my country on the battlefield and get medals and travel. But because of this, I made a lot of stupid, reckless decisions that interfered with that. You know, The army isn't gonna take a criminal. You know, you have to be squeaky clean. And I wasn't, you know, before I was 13, I had about 6 charges for getting into stolen cars, allegedly. You know, allegedly I got pulled out of a few, brought to the police station. First time I got a caution, second time I was charged, third time, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh time I was charged. So there goes my army career. Do you understand? And I knew it. So I rebelled, you know, 'cause I knew I was fucked. So I joined a different army, according to the media. An army of mates. 'Cause there was an army of us. You know, like I grew up with a lot of household names in Dublin. You know, good lads who made a lot of bad decisions, like myself. A lot of my friends got thrown out of school at 14 like me, and I didn't realise how important education was. Or I didn't realise that in order to succeed in life, you need to be educated in everything. You can't be good at everything, but you can give it a go, right? So because I threw my education away as a kid, I had to go get it back from me granny. You know, and I got it back. Oh yeah. We didn't just get a degree in life. You know, I'm happy with my achievements and my accomplishments and all the adversity I've alleged faced in my life. I've had it. I've pissed on the devil. Here, have you ever pissed on the devil? Finn, that looked like a nice steak and asparagus, you bastard. You know, first thing I see when I open my phone, I look at fucking see Finn's video of that asparagus and the steak. You fucking eat better. You eat great, you do. Hello, Mrs. Christine Newton. Guys, do me a favour. Good morning, Andrew. If you're not subbed to Finn's channel, can you do it? Because I can guarantee you, if you're up to Finn's channel, you'll end up making a couple of friends. And on here, everybody wants to be a tough guy. Everybody wants to be a fighting man. Hang on. Everybody wants to be the man, don't you? But on YouTube, there's loads of fucking phonies, imitators. They act all tough on camera and all, but you know off camera. Do you want to know a secret? I fell out, in 8 years, I fell out with about 7 people. And they called me names. How are you, Luke? You look better that, you Bowser, you. I just seen you in there. So, Luke, I'm trying, next year maybe, I'll get a big, well, not a big one, but I'm going to get something made in the garden. Like a little studio, but it's going to just be like a little shed, but I'll turn it into one. You know, shout out to you. Look, bro, I'm wearing your name on me. Look, Luke, look. You're there all the time, bro. I'd like to say rest in peace to Derek Cullen, to Tracy Cullen's brother. I'd like to say rest in peace. Nah, listen, Christine's always respectful. And if there's any women out there that have a YouTube channel, you see Christine Newton, give her a sub, because she's always been respectful to me. You understand, and always being positive, and I like people like that, you know. Uh, like I said, Finn is on 920 odd subs. He's less than 80 away from his first 1,000. Now, see that shit? That's priceless. Because, listen, I can tell you whether you'll have a good channel or not. It was the same with Finn. I knew that if Finn carried on with his channel, it'd keep growing. So every video I've ever made in the last, since me and Finn start chatting, nearly I'd say 92% of my videos, I've put Finn's channel in the description, because Finn is a young man. I'm old enough to be his dad, but he's been through addiction. He suffers with mental health. He can talk about suicide ideology, you understand, and he's got humility. And it's a rare commodity to find in individuals. Like, you have characteristics. When it comes to looking at men, I respect people who say to the world, here, listen, I'm not going to blame drugs or alcohol for my problems. I'm going to blame me. I'm the problem. You understand? And I seen that with Finn, and I was like, I can help Finn. I know I can. And the two of us work together, and it's like Finn's channel just grew. All I did was put Finn's name in the description of my channel, and he did the rest. He's fantastic. He was too the other day, Christine. So I had him down at me Mars. You know, because at the end of the day, that shit is priceless. I want to remember that. Like I said, here, I'm in the early stages of something. I'm not going into it on here. But yeah, I'm fucked. But here, not yet. Here, the body gives up before the mind does. I've a bit of time left to achieve a couple of things. But, bro, if you're watching this, I love you. But listen, I'm not getting in a plane with you. It's not happening. No fucking way. Listen, here, where's that marker? I need to tick that off my list. I am not jumping out of a plane with him. No way, man. Tandem jump? Oh, no. He said, right, I want to tell you a secret. Imagine you told your brother a secret. And because you told your brother that secret, your brother says, bro, I want to do A, B, and C, and D with you, just in case we don't get a chance to do it. How about that for a reality? But I'll take it. Listen here. God does things for a reason. You know, He spared my life for a reason. And I've helped other people not end their life. And that's what it's always been about. You know, helping survivors survive. You know, like, well, thank you for coming in, Christine. And guys, again, if you're not sub to Christine Newton, 8129, can you do it? There's a lot of good people come in here, and there's a few people that obviously don't like me. Now, that's on you. You see, I don't start trouble. You know, I stay out of it. Why do you think my channels never got stuck? You know, like the other day I hit 3 million views on this channel. You know, and I had to take a big L. Because I said, here, Jude, prove to yourself you're not in it for the money. And I've done that. You know, for those that don't know, my channel's monetization is paused And have a guess who paused it? Me. You know why? Because I was like, here, I've spoke to Finn, I've spoke to a few other people about their mental health, and they're not afraid to talk about their demons, because I know it helps. Men, we're made a certain way, okay? Women can talk to each other. They can have a coffee or a latte. They can sit down and they can talk about their husband's infidelities. Or, do you understand? They can talk to each other, but men, we're stubborn bastards. And it's like a lot of us put on this facade that nothing bothers us. Listen, and I'll tell you, yeah, I talk about my feelings because it helps me. Because if I didn't, I'd end up on the rope again. You know, yeah, you know, it's like I've lived with this illness since I'm 4 years old. I'm 52 this year. I've had over 90 psychiatric evaluations. I've had many hospitalizations. That means sectioned. Have you ever been sectioned? No? Yeah. So I know a little bit about mental health, right? And labels like I've got complex PTSD, psychosis, and survivor's guilt. Me brother Mark has got bipolar. Me brother Alex is a schizophrenic. Here, that's a hat trick. All three of us are fucked. We're like a big fanny. Fucked. Well, they're not fucked. I'm fucked. But we still have a few things to do. You know, I'm very optimistic. I believe in God. You know, and whatever God wants, it'll happen. It doesn't matter what I want. Whenever He wants you, believe me here, you're gonna die. Your ma's gonna die. Your dad's gonna die. Your brothers are gonna die. Your kids are gonna die. Your grandparents will die. And you're gonna die. One day. I'm gonna die. One day. Just not today. You know, not today, motherfucker. No. Hell no. But listen, I'm hitting my targets as I go. Every day I'm here so you know. I won't let this go. Mental health matters. Squirrel, football, and a bird. That should be a blackboard. Sorry. This fucking bastard. Oh, man. Wrong one. Where's the other black one? Oh, fuck off. I can't be asked. You know what? You see me stomach? It's like someone's poured a kettle of water in it. You understand? It fucking hurts. Do you want to know another secret? Yeah. You know my stomach right now. Do you know what it feels like? You know if you held somebody down and put a funnel in their mouth, got your kettle and put it on, and emptied some of that water into the funnel and it goes into your stomach. That's how my stomach feels right now. And when I go to the toilet, I'll have a bleed. That's what I have to look forward to every single time I go to the toilet. You know, there's a lot of side effects on the medications I still take, and they're irreversible, right? Now, you get people who claim that they have mental health issues, but they're not on any medications. They've never had any psychiatric evaluations. You know, over 40 years, no patients. You know, uh, okay, a lot of people in the world have mental health issues. A lot of people in the world go through traumatic shit. And at 4 years old, I went through something really traumatic. I lit a fire in my house and I got out alive, and my brothers and sister died in it. And I could hear them on the fucking balcony like I was 4 years old. You know, I'm not fucking deaf, you know. But, yeah, that followed me for years. It followed me mother for years. Me mother couldn't forgive herself, you know. She could not forgive herself, you know. She only left to get us nappies. Well, get me little sister Angelique nappies, you know. And by the time she got back up the stairs, the flat was blazing because I went under the bed like a fucking idiot with a match and did that. And all the brown stuff underneath the bed went up. My fucking hair was on fire, you know. I crawled back out, and the first thing I seen was a fucking milk crate, and I turned it upside down, and like I said, it's like it all happened so fast, you know. And they used to come to me in me dreams, you know, telling me I killed them, and you know, fucking horrendous dreams, you know, night terrors. Uh, I was prescribed a medication when I was a kid, and my ma was very ashamed to talk about it, because a lot of people back then, mental health has a stigma attached to it, and it's like a lot of people can't talk about it. But do you know why so many people take their own life? I'll tell you why. Because they can't talk to their loved ones. Do you understand? Like, when it gets to the point where you can't talk about your mental health to somebody, like, or, you know, it's like that's why so many men are taking their life. Because they're afraid to talk about it. They're carrying shit with them that they're afraid to talk about. They don't want people to know about. And believe me, if you've been abused as a kid, physically, mentally, sexually, it's not your fault. Do you understand? You need to tell yourself it's not your fault. You can't keep punishing yourself. You know, you were a kid. It's not your fault. You know, but try tell a kid that it's not your fault your brother and sister are dead. It's not your fault. That's what my psychiatrist kept telling me as a kid. It wasn't your fault, Jude. It was an act of God. I was like, oh, fuck God. How about that? At the time, God forgive me for saying that, but that's what I said. When he said to me, it's God's will. I was like, do you know what? See, you and God can fuck off. Yeah, tell him I said that too. In fact, I'll tell him. You know, and I regretted saying that, you know. Like I said, traumatic events happen in our life and we tend to bury them, and that's the wrong thing to do because they'll resurface. Believe me, you know, you will have nightmares, but what happens when you're afraid to go to sleep? But see me, I'm on a lot of medications, at night. I take all my meds at night time. They help me sleep a little bit, you know. I don't have dead people visiting me dreams anymore. My mother used to come, me father, me brother and sister, Bert. Loads of me mates come to me. Keith Collins. Like, I never got past that, you know. And a lot of people don't understand my reasons for not going back to Ireland. I've too many people in that graveyard, you know. And it'd only break me again. End up back in the hospital. You know what I mean? It's like I've been there 3 times before, and in all fairness, I could have catching a life sentence the last time I was there. But the fella, he didn't remember, so he couldn't really press charges because he couldn't remember it happening. He hadn't got enough evidence, mate. You know. He deserved it, and anyway. But I have been in mental health facilities and I understand mental health survivors. And as men, especially Irish men, we're supposed to be solid. We're meant to be tough guys who don't talk about their feelings and you know what I mean. But look at that's what's gonna compromise you in the end. Because if you can't talk about your mental health, listen and I'll tell you something, whether you like me or not, if you've got mental health issues, believe me, talk to somebody about it. It doesn't have to be a family member. It doesn't have to be your missus. It doesn't even have to be your brother. It can be a complete fucking stranger. But confide in somebody, you know. And if you're feeling like that, do something about it. Go out on the canal. Go for a walk. Take the dog out. Here, fucking take the cat out if you have to too. But just get out and do something. Whether it be fishing, whatever, fly a fucking kite then. You know, it's like you have to do things to help your mental health. You know, it's like otherwise you're gonna deteriorate rapid and holding that shit in. Listen, you need to be able to separate that anxiety. Otherwise you're gonna drown in it. Do you understand? Uh, it is what it is. I believe that, Richard. Like men, the way the human condition is, men are meant to be strong. We're not meant to talk about our feelings. But I be honest with you, I found that talking about your shit can help you. And then on YouTube, you have a little community that come in and out my channel that'll say, like for instance, see Pac-Man. A few months ago, he was detoxing off something, right? And he come into the channel and he said, "Dude, I'm 28 days in recovery. Uh, 28 days in recovery." And he's still going. So shout out to Pac-Man. Look, there's loads of people that come in and out of my channel. Hang on a minute. Guys, give me a sec. Sorry about that, guys. I had to talk to my son there. Uh, do you agree that Mozart was the best classical composer? I'd say he's up there. Uh, I'm a big fan. Uh, but guys, like I said, you know what I mean? It's like, this has always been about growing a channel, and I come from a rough housing estate. Like a lot of people that come in and watch me come from rough housing estates. And they all know that everything's about respect, no matter where you go. You know, and it's like a lot of us, we grow up, we move away, and next of all, 20 years has gone past. I've lived in England 32 years, you know. I have 3 English children. Uh, Altogether, I have 3 baby mothers, and they're all in this city, and so's me kids. Uh, and I'm very lucky. Me grandkids as well. Me entire family is here. I love this city, and I wouldn't change a fucking thing in my life. Because if I change one thing, it's a ripple effect. They call it what's it called? The butterfly effect. Yeah, it's mad. It's like where one decision or one meeting can change your entire life. But listen, the other day when I hit 3 million viewers, I was over the moon, because at the end of the day, I did this without funding, without a PayPal. I did have a PayPal up, but it never really got fucked. Don't get me wrong, a few people bought me coffee, but it's like if I was on here to make money, I'd have I'd have already charging people membership. But I always believed that if I didn't, that more people had subbed to me channel, and it's like a lot of people have listened to me. It's like, and whether they're laughing at me or with me, they're laughing. I'm not asked whether they're laughing with me or at me. My dad taught me that as long as they're laughing, that's all that matters, son. You know, my father, he loved radio. He loved being a DJ, and he wanted me to. Right, I'll put it to you another way. My father used to use me as a go to the pub card after the studio on a Sunday in Beaumont Hospital. We'd get the bus from Beaumont into town, and there's a pub across from Jervis Street pub. I don't know what it was called, but that was me dad's local, like, nearest job, his old job. But he used to take me into this pub across from Jervis Street for a few hours, right? And it's like over a 5 year period, my father showed me how to use some of the equipment. I wasn't allowed to touch anything, and I listened to him, and sometimes it was very boring, sometimes I didn't want to go, but he'd be like, "You ready, son?" And I knew he was only taking me, and then he was going to say to me, "Ma, Jane, I'm just bringing Jude in for a lemonade." So bringing Jude in for a lemonade basically meant I'm going for 4 or 5 pints before I go home. But he learned me how to use a mixer, one of them samplers, the fucking, a big long fucking keyboard, a big mixing board, set different sound samples, fucking jingles, fucking, he taught me a few things about radio. And then he learnt me how to use turntables. Uh, it's like, and he wanted me to. I'll be honest with you, right? I fucked a couple of things up because I made the wrong decisions, yeah? So, me dad, before I ever even thought about going to the army, my dad thought that it'd be a good idea to go to college and learn a bit more about music and equipment and stuff like that, you know. But I didn't really want to do it, and I rebelled against them, you know. And like, I'm glad I rebelled against them because it taught me a tough lesson. You know, I rebelled against him, and he told me I'd end up in prison, and I did. You know, and I'm not gonna whinge about that, but it's probably the most afraid I've ever been. Like, I was on the landing one day. I was in the prison 3 days. I was in SEG for 24 hours, but that 24 hours turned into nearly 48. And then I went on the landing in Mountjoy. You know, I think I was in fucking B wing. I'm not too sure what wing I was on. It was in 1993, but I learned me lessons. You know, I had to learn. But like I said, a lot of me mates didn't learn the lesson and they're dead because of it. Because they wanted to be the man. And in Dublin, everyone wants to be the man, you know. Like, never mind YouTube, you know, and it's scary. It's like I wouldn't want to have that kind of life again. It's like it's more scary now because it's like, but it's still the same, you know. Like, allegedly, when I was doing naughty stuff, I was involved with high caliber, high profile people, allegedly, you know, and you can't talk to anybody about these people, you know. Like, if I've got a conversation with you, just me and you, I'm not going to betray your trust, even if me and you fall out, because I'm not a snake like that, you know. I'm old fashioned, old school, and I've got old school principles, old school fucking principles, you know, old school morals, and the Old Testament, you know. But one thing my dad taught me about was reading, you know, as a punishment. When I was naughty as a kid, my dad used to give me books to read, and he'd test me on the book. He'd ask me questions about it. That was my punishment, and a few slaps as well. You know, and growing up, look, I see books. It's like, those books are magical, educational, you know. Right, guys, that's me hour done. I'll be back on this evening sometime, and I hope you all have a good day. I'm gonna watch something with the Queen, and have a bit of breakfast. But yeah, shout out to me cousin Keith Fitzpatrick, rest in peace. But I'd like to say rest in peace to Tracy Cullen's brother. I only found out before I come on me live, so I'd like to say rest in peace to Tracy Cullen's brother up in Cherry Orchard. I think his name is Derek. I could be wrong, but I know it's our brother, so rest in peace to him. Thanks for coming in, Richard. Finn, thanks for coming in. Andrew, thanks for coming in. Christine, thank you for coming in. You know, Mr. Andrew, Mr. Richard, Mr. Luke as well. I'll be back on later. I have a thing. I say to myself in the morning, I'll do me or whatever. Like I said, I've hit 3 million viewers, 4,476 subs, okay? And 7,400 and fucking odd videos. There is nobody on YouTube, okay, and this is a fact. There is nobody in our circle, outside our circle, in our community that has made more fucking videos than I have. And you can go look on every fucking big channel you want. Go look at that channel and look many videos they've made. Go and look Mr. Here. How mad is this? Mr. Beast has made 255 videos. 255. I've made 7,400. YouTube owe me money. The amount of advertisements them bastards are making money off me years. And that's a fact. You know, somebody reached out to me the other day and said, Jewett, what you, Mia, never mind the fucking shed, bro. You deserve it. You know, if anybody fucking deserves it for effort, bro, you do. And I'll tell you who the person was. PD. PD reached out to me, said, Jewett, why don't you unpause your monetization? And you'll get paid for your videos. And you can build a fucking house in the back garden. That's what PD said to me. You know, he reached out to me and said, Jewett, listen, if anybody fucking deserves it, or if you want to do a fucking GoFundMe to build this shed, fucking do it. Because if anyone deserves it, you do. And it's not as if you're asking for the money to buy a new scooter, or money to buy a bleeding car, or money to live. It's to build a fucking studio in order to carry on doing what I'm doing. You know, but I'll tell you what, I have a few props. All these, listen, these are all being collected. You understand? And they'll all go in my studio. You know, like whatever's here. You know. Oops, that's me mascot. Right, guys, that's me hour done now, so I'll talk to you all later on. Thanks for coming in, and I'll see you all this evening, and I hope you all have a good day, right? God bless.